My jaw damn near hit the carpet when I opened the office door and saw her, my wife, lounging in my boss's chair like she owned the damn building. The plush leather executive chair squeaked as she shifted her weight, that $300 perfume I bought her for our anniversary hanging in the air like a mocking reminder of my stupidity. She wasn't supposed to be there. She didn't even work on this floor. Hell, she was 3 levels below this man in the corporate hierarchy, just another cog in the accounting department that I'd helped her get into 2 years ago. And yet, there she was, legs crossed, her red-soled Louboutins dangling casually off one foot, top 3 buttons of her silk blouse undone, smirking like a queen who just conquered new territory. My territory. The territory I'd spent 7 years cultivating through late nights, missed weekends, and enough ass-kissing to qualify for Olympic gold. I blinked, thinking maybe I was hallucinating from too much caffeine. For espresso shots will do that to you, especially when you've been pulling 16-hour days to finish the Henderson proposal. The same proposal clutched in my sweaty hand as I stood there, documents that would make or break my quarter. Documents I was bringing to the man who apparently had other performance reviews on his mind. I stepped closer. The carpet muffled my footsteps, thick and plush like everything else in the executive suite that I'd only dreamed of occupying someday. And that's when I saw him. My boss. Richard fucking Anderson. The guy who signs my checks. The guy who'd spent the last performance review telling me I needed to show more initiative and hunger. He was down on his knees under the desk, face buried between her legs like it was his final promotion review. His expensive suit pants pooled around his ankles, his monogrammed shirt untucked, his thinning hair disheveled from where her fingers had clearly been gripping moments before. The wet sound stopped abruptly when the door opened wider, but he hadn't emerged yet, hadn't realized we had company. She didn't flinch. Just locked eyes with me, those same blue eyes that used to look at me with what I thought was love, now cold as ice and twice as sharp. A slight flush colored her cheeks, but her expression didn't change. That's what killed me, the complete absence of shame or surprise. This wasn't their first rodeo. This was routine. She didn't even remove her hand from the back of his head as she whispered, loud enough for me to hear, "Guess who's getting a raise?" That's when my soul detached. It just fucking left, like some ghost departing a corpse in those cheap horror movies we used to watch together on Sunday nights. I stood there empty, hollow, watching the scene like it was happening to someone else. I wasn't angry. Not yet. I was hollow. Numb. The kind of numb that comes before frostbite sets in, before the tissue starts dying. I felt humiliated. Betrayed by the woman I married 5 years ago in that overpriced vineyard ceremony her parents insisted on. Betrayed by the man I trusted with my future, the man whose coffee order I knew by heart, whose kids' names I remembered during small talk, whose wife sent me a Christmas card every year with a family photo and a personalized note thanking me for my hard work. Richard finally sensed something was wrong and emerged from under the desk, his face glistening with evidence I couldn't unsee. When he saw me, the color drained from his face so fast I thought he might pass out. He stammered something unintelligible, hands fumbling to pull up his pants, dignity long gone. Mark, this isn't, he started, but what could he possibly say? That he tripped and fell face first into my wife's crotch. That he was checking her for ticks. That this was some new corporate team-building exercise I'd missed the memo on. My wife, Sarah, didn't even try to explain. She just recrossed her legs slowly, deliberately, watching my face the whole time like she was measuring how much damage she'd inflicted. She reached for Richard's bottle of 30-year-old Macallan on the desk, the one he brought back from Scotland and only opened for special occasions, and poured herself 2 fingers without breaking eye contact with me. I walked out without a word. But that silence. That wasn't surrender. That silence was the start of something brutal. That silence was me already planning their extinction. The office hallway was empty as I made my way back to my cubicle. Midday on a Thursday, most people were at lunch or in meetings. Small mercies. I couldn't have handled Karen from HR asking about my weekend plans or Mike from sales wanting to discuss fantasy football. I sat down at my desk, the Henderson proposal forgotten, and stared at my computer screen for what felt like hours but was probably only minutes. My wedding photo mocked me from the corner of my desk. Sarah in white, me in my rented tux, both of us grinning like we'd won the lottery. I flipped it face down with enough force that the glass cracked. Seemed fitting. First things first. I checked my watch, 1:37 p.m. Richard had a budget meeting at 2 o'clock. Sarah usually took lunch from 1 to 2 o'clock. They'd be scurrying back to their respective positions soon, pretending nothing happened. Straightening clothes, fixing hair, rehearsing lies. But I had time. I had plenty of time. I accessed the internal email system. I had admin clearance for IT support, a side responsibility I'd taken on 6 months ago to demonstrate value to the company. Funny how that was about to pay off in ways Richard never anticipated. I pulled every message between them, using keywords that made me sick to type: meet, tonight, can't wait, secret, delete this. There they were. Hundreds of them. Flirty jokes dating back 8 months. Hotel confirmations. Explicit, meeting minutes detailing what they'd done to each other and where. Plans for a weekend getaway disguised as a conference in San Diego. Pictures I wished I could unsee. Each message was another knife, but I kept scrolling, kept taking screenshots, kept building my case. I compiled it into a neat little PDF, complete with timestamps, attachments, and a cover page titled, Professional Growth, an Oral History. I even used the company's branding template, the same one we used for quarterly reports. It seemed appropriate since this was definitely material the board should review. By 1:55 p.m., Richard rushed past my cubicle, tie straightened, hair combed, wearing the practiced smile of a man who thought he'd gotten away with it. He nodded at me casually, just another day at the office. Sarah texted me at 1:58, working late tonight, don't wait up. I almost laughed. The audacity. The sheer fucking audacity. Then I dropped the PDF anonymously to HR, the board of directors, and, this was the chef's kiss, to Richard's wife. Yep, he was married too. 22 years, 3 kids, youngest just starting college. Surprise, Deborah Anderson. Your husband's been investing in some extracurricular activities. I cleared my search history, deleted the evidence of my electronic snooping, and then did something unexpected. I went back to work. I finished the Henderson proposal, sent it to Richard with a cheerful note about how excited I was for his feedback, and even stayed late to clear my inbox. When Sarah texted again at 7:30 p.m. asking where I was, I replied, wrapping up at the office. Don't wait up. 2 can play at that game. Within 48 hours, Richard was suspended pending investigation. The official announcement cited allegations of misconduct, with no specifics, but the whispers in the break room filled in the blanks. People suddenly found reasons to stop by my desk, eyes full of pity or curiosity. I kept working, smiled at the right moments, and pretended I was as shocked as everyone else. Did you hear about Richard and that woman from accounting? They'd whisper. No details yet, I'd reply. But I'm sure the company will handle it appropriately. Within a week, Richard was fired, for cause. No severance, no golden parachute, no gentle transition to pursue other opportunities. His office was emptied overnight, his name removed from the door, his existence scrubbed from the company website like a Soviet-era dissident. Then came her turn. Sarah still didn't know that I knew. She kept up the charade of our marriage, perhaps thinking that Richard had been careless elsewhere, that their secret was safe. I let her believe it. I nodded when she expressed shock about Richard's firing. I comforted her when she complained about the toxic rumors spreading through the office. Meanwhile, I canceled our joint accounts, sold her car, it was in my name, a graduation gift when she finished her MBA that I'd mostly paid for, and listed her designer bags on eBay for emotional damages. Chanel, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all gone in 72 hours. I redirected her mail, changed the Netflix password, and even called her mother to cancel the family reunion trip we'd planned for July. "Sarah and I are going through some changes," was all I said. Her mother, who'd never liked me anyway, didn't push for details. But the real move? I applied for his job. The position was posted internally first, Director of Operations, the stepping stone I'd been eyeing for years. I updated my resume, gathered references from colleagues who weren't sleeping with my wife, and walked into the interview room like I owned it. The panel of executives looked uncomfortable. They'd all seen the PDF, they all knew I was the husband. But corporate America runs on plausible deniability and carefully worded statements. "Mark, your qualifications are impressive," the COO began carefully, "but given the recent situation, we want to ensure there won't be any continuation of the unpleasantness." I brought receipts. Literally. Walked in with a printed copy of the same PDF and placed it on the table. "Here's why I won't be giving blowjobs under the table," I said, my voice steady. "I believe in earning promotions through competence, not cunnilingus." The Henderson account? That was me. The Phillips restructuring? Also me. The cost-saving initiative that saved this company $3 million last quarter? My proposal, executed by the team I built. Richard was a figurehead. I was the engine. And unlike him, I don't mix business with pleasure. There was a shocked silence, followed by an unexpected sound, laughter. The COO, a woman in her 50s who'd fought her own battles to reach her position, actually laughed out loud. "Well, that's refreshingly direct," she said. "And the Henderson proposal was excellent. Tell me more about your vision for the department." I got the job. Corner office, salary bump, company car, the works. I moved my things in on a Monday morning, arranging my new desk with military precision. The only personal item I brought was a new frame, empty, waiting for better memories to fill it. And Sarah? She found out about the job the same day she discovered her access to our accounts had been revoked. She came home to find the locks changed and her belongings packed in boxes on the porch. Not everything, just clothes, personal items, things that were undeniably hers. The furniture stayed. The wedding china stayed. The life we'd built stayed with me. She texted me 2 weeks later, "You didn't have to ruin everything." I was at my new desk when I got it, reviewing performance reports for the team that was now mine. Including her department. Including her position, which was suddenly under review for redundancy. I replied with one line, "Neither did you, but you did it on your knees." I blocked her number after that. Let her lawyer talk to my lawyer. Let the divorce papers speak for themselves. Let the workplace investigation into inappropriate relationships between departments run its course. I had an office to run and a future to rebuild. Sometimes, in the quiet moments before sleep in my half-empty bed, I wonder if it was worth it, not the revenge, but the 5 years before. The vacations, the dinner parties, the plans we'd made for children someday. But then I remember her face in that office, the complete absence of remorse, and I sleep just fine. She lost her job 3 weeks after I got mine. Departmental restructuring, the official reason. She couldn't prove it was personal, just like I couldn't prove Richard's termination wasn't entirely about company policy violations. Corporate warfare is all about the paper trail, and I'd learned from the best how to cover my tracks. Richard fared worse. His wife took him for everything in the divorce, his industry reputation was shot, and the last I heard, he was selling insurance in a strip mall office 2 towns over. His LinkedIn profile still listed our company as his employer, a digital ghost of the man he used to be. Me. I sold the house, too many memories, and bought a sleek downtown condo with floor-to-ceiling windows and no trace of her. I dated casually, nothing serious, and focused on turning my department into the company's most profitable division. I got another promotion 18 months later. Executive VP. Another office, bigger window, better view. Sometimes I see her around town. She dyed her hair darker, lost some weight, started working at a smaller firm across the city. We don't speak. We don't nod. We exist in parallel universes that happen to occupy the same physical space. The company holiday party rolled around last December. Open bar, catered food, forced merriment. The CEO pulled me aside, glass of scotch in hand, to discuss my trajectory. Never seen a division turn around like yours, he said, slightly buzzed on premium liquor. Whatever you're doing, it's working. We're thinking of expanding your role next quarter. I smiled, clinked glasses with him, and scanned the room full of colleagues, some of whom I knew were sleeping together despite everything that had happened with Richard and Sarah. Human nature doesn't change, even when the cautionary tales are still collecting unemployment. I learned from experience, I told him, sipping slowly. Nothing personal should ever get in the way of business. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't healing. It was just cold, practical truth, served neat like the whiskey in my hand. Some betrayals don't get redemption arcs. Some wounds don't become inspiring scars with stories attached. Some endings stay bitter all the way down to the last drop. And I was fine with that.